into the area we're discussing. Right? The vertebral comes up, and when you look closely at this model, well, let me get one that actually holds apart. If you look at this model, here's your two vertebrals coming up, and they actually come together into one vessel. And then that leads up into a vessel that is basically a circle. It used to be called the Circle of Willis. They called it whatever it was, the arterial circular artery, what they cerebral arterial circle is what they call it now. So always known as the Circle of Willis. Okay, so it's fed, this little circle, and this is part of it here. It's, if we were able to make this into a circle, you know, like that, the Circle of Willis is kind of like a traffic circle, right? Blood is coming up via the vertebrals and being pumped into the traffic circle. And coming off of that traffic circle are vessels that go to the front of the brain, the middle of the brain, and the back of the brain. So it's like a traffic circle, the Circle of Willis. And it's supplied by the vertebrals and the carotids. All right, so here's our spinal cord. Okay? Here are the vertebral arteries. Those are the two running up the cervical spine. They're running into the board. Two of them. They come together. This is what I was just showing to you. They come together here to form the basilar or basilar. All right? There's where they come together. And here's our circle. See, watch this arrow. Goes all the way around, all the way around. That's the Circle of Willis, or the cerebral arterial circle. I don't like that name. All right. Now, the vertebrals are bringing blood to the circle, but I also told you that the carotids, here it is, internal carotid. See these two big ones here, this one and this one? They're coming up along the side of the neck, and they're going to the circle also. So here's the circle. It's being fed by the carotids, and it's being fed by the two vertebrals via the basilar. The blood's going into the circle. And from the circle, it's being distributed to the main arteries of the brain, which are very easily named. Anterior cerebral, middle cerebral, and posterior cerebral. There's two anteriors that go to the front, two middle that go to the sides, and two posterior that go to the back. Now, what do you see on this model?
Those are arteries?
These are, we're only talking about arteries. So this model can be used with this. If you start down here, I'll tell you the numbers. Well, maybe I won't. You got to start down here, down around this area where these vessels are. Now, what I have my fingers on two vessels. These two vessels that I have my fingers on are not the vertebrals, even though it looks like there's one on each side going up. These are not the vertebrals. Okay, these have to do with the cerebellum. Forget about those. You got to go down in the hole. Look for your spinal cord. Can everyone find their spinal cord in there? There's a white thing down in the hole. If you find your spinal cord, you can find your vertebrals. The two arteries coming up, forming a V, an upside down V, those are the vertebrals. All right? They're running next to the spinal cord. And when they come up, Now I have my finger on it. There's a big fat vessel down the center. That's the basilar. Basilar. Okay? And that comes up to here. And where is that? That is the sella turcica. The sella turcica. The circle of Willis wraps around the sella turcica. And what's sitting there? What's that purple thing sitting there in the sella turcica? The pituitary gland. Okay. It's all coming back. Like a nightmare.